Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, depending on which part of the world you're in. I'm here to talk about something really, really exciting today. I'm going to talk about giving back to a community of analytics, data science professionals, something very, very exciting. We have a very unique endeavor from 3AI called the 3AI Signature Forums. Now, 3AI has embarked upon this novel and first of a kind initiative for our thought leaders, which are called the signature forums. You may wonder why signature. It's got nothing to do with our signature. It basically means a special interest group. So, we use this to trigger and develop a deep knowledge and expertise in the state of AI and analytics adoption, applications and use cases across industry segments, business functions, and ensuing technologies. What is really interesting about our signature charters is it follows an inch wide, mile deep approach. What that means is we will talk about some very, very interesting areas, some very interesting niche areas, but we'll go really deep there. And we will ensure that our 3AI thought leaders are able to augment thought leadership quotient, understand the best practice frameworks, and in the industry segments and business functions and AI and analytics technologies. Having said that, the segment that I'm really excited to talk about is the Fintech Charter. Now, fintech has been a buzzword for quite some time now in the industry, and maybe quite rightly so. So I'll just quote a few numbers from an Invest India government website. We are, as in India, is currently the fastest growing fintech market in the world. We have more than 2,000 recognized fintech startups in India, and this number is growing very fast. Just to give an idea of the span of the fintech business in India today, our market size at the end of 2021 was around $50 billion. And that is estimated to be at around $150 billion by 2025. So, in a span of 4 years, we're expecting a 3x expansion of a market, which is unbelievable. We currently, we by end of 2023, we are looking at to be around 1 trillion in assets under management and $200 billion in revenue, which makes this one of the fastest growing, one of the most exciting sectors to be in. Uh, Payment, lending, and insurance tech are supposed to be, or are basically turning out to be, the most preferred sectors. Now, why am I so excited about fintech? Well, my last 4 to 5 years of my career has been with different fintech companies. I worked with organizations which have worked in the small business lending space. I worked with consumer buy now, pay later lending space. I've also done a lot of corporate cards and cash advances and merchant cash advances again in the B2B space. So this is a space where I have seen the growth. When I initially joined Cabbage, which was my first foray into fintech, it was still a world that a lot of people weren't aware of. I was coming from a traditional banking background, and a lot of people told me that, wow, that's a gutsy move. I'm so glad I took that move. The pace at which this industry grows is given analytics professionals like me a lot of opportunities to use data, to use the intelligence that you get from data to truly drive business values. And this is what this charter is going to be about. My partner in crime, or my co-fintech chair, is Parikshit Nag, who is the head of data and analytics in Indus OS. And together, Parikshit and I will embark on this fascinating journey to talk about the vast opportunities that data science, analytics, and engineering has in driving the strategic decisions, creating competitive advantage, and defining the growth trajectory for fintech businesses. What we also want to do is create a community of leaders, practitioners, and aspirants to come together, share their ideas, define best practices, and create an industry wide knowledge repository to be available to our 3AI members who want to propel their careers in data science and analytics in the fintech industry. Now, why do we feel that data and analytics has a huge role to play in fintech? Let me just take the term fintech. Fintech essentially is nothing but financial technology. So we are talking about a very core, traditional, and a fairly complicated industry, which is the financial industry. And then we are talking about everything cutting edge, which is covered in the technology industry. If you look at the fintech industry today, all the competitive advantage comes from data. Let me give you a very simple example. Let's say today you want to use a certain fintech platform to maybe search for an auto loan. What is the best loan for you to get? How would a company know without hitting your details, without getting your bank accounts, without looking at your past history, what to offer you? Well, there are a lot of interesting alternative data sources that the company uses, or legal, by the way, to understand who are you without even talking to you, without even having a human interact with you at this stage, to give you a very smooth customer journey experience wherein in a very short span of time a company is able to assess your risk, is able to assess your willingness, is able to assess your need and make the right offer to you. What fuels this? Data does. The intelligence from data does. And that is why the entire fintech industry is so heavy on use cases from data and analytics. So what are we going to talk about in this particular charter? Why are we so excited about it? Now, we want to give you a 360 degree view of the fintech industry. We want to start off by talking about what is the lay of the land in fintech. Like we keep talking about fintech. What is fintech? Is Paytm a fintech? Is a Unicard a fintech? Is Razorpay a fintech? Who is a fintech? So we will talk about all the different aspects of fintech. Just like a wealth management firm like Zerodha is a fintech, an insurance firm like an Acco is a fintech. You have people in the lending space like a lending card or a Zest Money. In neobanking, you have someone like in Kotak 811. And in the payment space, you have so many folks like a Razorpay or a Paytm. So the lay of the land in fintech is very interesting, very intertwined, and each of these elements come together to give you a complete financial space. So we'll talk about the lay of the land. We'll talk about the technical aspects of leveraging data for decision making. In all my 5, 7 years in the fintech world, I have never seen any decision being taken without the power of data, because that is exactly what the fintech companies rely on in order to be efficient, in order to beat their competition, in order to get more customers, in order to stay relevant. So, we'll talk a lot about data science and analytics, data engineering, ML expertise that is going to be leveraged in the fintech industry. We'll also talk about what are the different roles and responsibilities of data team members in a fintech company. How is it different from, let's say, a lot of traditional companies? I made that journey from coming from a traditional banking firm like a HSBC or a Citibank, and I then moved to companies like Cabbage, Zip, and Razorpay. So, what was it like? What was the journey like? And then what is expected out of a data professional in a fintech world? And very, very importantly, we spoke about a bright future of fintech in India. What is the future of data in fintech? And how do we keep ourselves ready? How do we use the best of class solutions to keep the fintech companies innovating, to keep them from gaining competitive advantage? So these are all the things that this charter will talk about. As I mentioned earlier, inch wide, mile deep. That's exactly what we are going to do here. Now, the next question: how do we do it? Well, I spoke about a lot of things. Not all of them would, it's not a one size fit all. We will not come to you with just boring lectures or present you with a blog. We are actually going to mix it up there. We're going to try out multiple forms of delivery where, depending on the topic we want to cover, we will choose the right form of delivery. So there are some exciting forms that we have thought about. My co-chair Parikshit has a way with words, is extremely smart, and he's come up with some very interesting names for all our interventions. We are looking to do roundtables and debates with different fintech leaders. We want to bring them together, put them in discussions, and ask them about how can data be a differentiator in fintech company. Are all companies doing the same thing? How do we ensure that they're doing different things? How do we leverage data the right way? Is there an ethical aspect of leveraging, let's say, alternative forms of data? And we are calling these arguably the best, which is our roundtables and debates with the data leaders. Now, obviously, we will go deep into the technical sessions. We will want to present a lot of best practices in data science. What are some of the cutting edge algorithms and technologies we are using today? So, we may do a lot of video sessions and podcasts, which we will call a tech shastra. Again, Parikshit, he just outdid himself there. Uh, Obviously, we'll get you a lot to read as well. There will be a lot of essays and blogs on a mix of technical, business, and leadership topics within data teams in fintech, something which we are calling Ink and Quill. Um, we will bring together a lot of cross industry leaders. Now, as said right in the beginning, fintech is such a beautiful confluence of what's traditional, the financial world, and what's cutting edge, the technology world. So there is a lot to learn from the traditional financial sector. There's a lot to learn within the fintech sector. So, a person from lending and a person from insurtech would have very different journeys in fintech. And we feel that this charter, given our vast reach in 3AI across our thought leader circle, there are so many leaders representing the different areas of fintech. We would want to bring them together, create a synergy, and show you how these different segments can interact and how data is the common thread tying you all. This is something which we are calling as the matrix. And finally, and most importantly, something Parikshit and I are extremely passionate about is to create the next generation of data professionals in fintech. This is where we would want to use this forum to coach and mentor young aspirants who want to work with the data teams in the fintech companies. We want to show them what good looks like in a data team in a fintech company. How does data drive decisions? And what is it that they need to do to be a part of a data team in a fintech company? An initiative we are very passionate about, something which we are calling the Young Guns. So, as you can see, there's a lot of ground for us to cover. There's a lot of exciting things that we want to bring together. And most importantly, we are really excited to bring our experience in a sector which we are extremely fortunate and passionate to be a part of. Parikshit will continue this session, a part two of this session in the coming days, where he will talk a little more in detail about our vision and what is keeping us so excited about the FinTech Charter. I would like to take a moment to thank 3AI for coming up with such an innovative idea of creating a segment like the SIG, where we can delve deep into niche topics and where we can actually put forward the best practices, define the best in class solutions for different segments. I'm really excited to be a part of the FinTech Charter. The Fintech SIGnature Charter is something which is very deep, close to my heart. Something I really hope will grow the interest for fintech, will take away the myth and the enigma around it, but more importantly, give you realistic vision of how data is the lifeblood of any fintech company. And I really hope you will be interested to join me in this journey. And together we can learn and create a very strong data culture in the fintech world. Thank you so much.